Hello and welcome to the seventh Roll Jump Media podcast. Once again, I am here with my co-host Andres and our recurring panelists Jose and Luis. Seventh
Uh,
podcast. What's up? What's up?
Nothing much. Yeah.
That's all good. It's all good. Quick preview of what happened this past week. Inside Xbox occurred with their next-gen gameplay that we'll talk about for a little bit. Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order received a generous free update with some pretty good content. Mortal Kombat 11 detailed their expansion aftermath, and there's going to be an Inuyasha sequel. But before we get into that, let's go ahead and talk about what we've been playing.
All right. So I'll go ahead and start. Um, what have I? Um, well, I don't know if you guys heard about there was like some free games on the PlayStation.
Oh yeah,
It
it
was
was Journey,
Journey
Pac-Man, and
and the
Uncharted.
Nathan Drake, yeah, Nathan Drake collection.
Yeah.
So I've been playing the Uncharted games. I played the first one, um, and right now, like like 3 days ago, I started playing the second one, which is the best one.
The second
Um,
one is indeed the best one.
yes.
True.
So I've been enjoying that. And Animal Crossing, the usual since when did it come out? February, March, March. It's March. Been going in fishing. That's what I've been focusing on Animal Crossing. And I think that's it. I played a few matches of Splatoon
Yeah.
last. What was it?
uh,
No, no,
Tuesday?
Tuesday. Yeah, Tuesday.
Tuesday night.
Yes, I visited that. You know, so that's pretty much what I've been playing.
All right. Going back through Uncharted 1 again. Or did you ever play it before? Before I even go there?
I played like the first, I want to say like 20 minutes, maybe 30 minutes, but I never passed it.
Ah, okay, got you. How'd you
Yeah,
feel
not
about
sure.
it overall after completing it?
So when I first played it, it was on the PS3, I believe.
Yeah, it came out in
And
2007, I believe, on the PS3.
yeah, so playing the remastered version, I don't know. I don't know if it had something to do with that, but it felt better and it looked better. I remember when I first tried to play it, it was like a turn off for me, the way it looked.
Really?
Um,
That was like
I
the
don't know
selling
why.
point
Yeah,
for me.
yeah. I don't know why. Maybe having played like the second one and the third one, kind of
Okay, so
like
that was kind of like your introduction to the series, that's why.
yeah, the second and third one.
Yeah.
Um, so, but yeah, like I finally played it. I finally passed it. It's pretty good. You can see like the improvements they made, like Naughty Dog made, like in the future games. Um, but I mean, overall, it was a good experience.
Yeah. I would say like one of the things that I'm thinking of is the environments kind of look samey
Yeah,
compared to like the next games.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
I think what really got me when I first played the first Uncharted was that if you walk near a bush or something, like it moved. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Yeah, like those little things, like because I was following it closely. I was following Naughty Dog closely because I was a big fan of Jack and Daxter and
Mhm.
all that stuff. And then like how his pants would get wet when you walked into the water and everything. All that stuff stood out to me because I was following it closely. So it's kind of interesting to hear that perspective from somebody who didn't see how brilliant it was or see the graphical leap
Right.
that I did. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, one of the things that I like about the future games, the second one, and the third one is the stealth attacks. And I don't know if the first one had stealth attacks, and I tried to do them.
Oh, I
I
don't
don't know
know.
if
I don't. I want to say
I don't think
no.
they had it.
Yeah, I want to say no, they didn't. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was kind of like a I wanted to do stealth attacks and I couldn't. I was like, oh, okay, I guess.
Yeah, yeah.
Uh,
I don't even know if pull downs were a thing. I don't even remember
no,
if
they
those
weren't.
were a thing. Yeah, so interesting.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right, anybody else want to chime in about what they've been playing?
Well, it's been Animal Crossing for me. Um, that game is still holding up. Game of the year confirmed. Um,
I'll let it
I,
slide.
I mean, excuse me.
I'll let it slide.
I've been playing Animal Crossing, trying to get the new fish that um came in this month. The new insects, and just trying to pay off my loans. I was playing
Sounds jolly.
Pokemon Mystery Dungeon. I passed the main storyline of that game. I want to say like 2 weeks ago, maybe. Um,
Wow, you just barely got it. I feel like you got it barely like two, three
yeah,
weeks
it
ago.
was pretty fun. I was pretty
Yeah.
surprised too. I wasn't expecting it to be that fast. And honestly, after passing that, I wanted to keep going and kind of complete the whole game. Recruit all the Pokemon available.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
But I don't know, it wasn't as engaging anymore. The storyline personally was kind of underwhelming for me. Um, my first mystery dungeon was the Super Mystery Dungeon for the 3DS, and um, that one was more extensive. It had more. I think it had all the Pokemon that had appeared. I think since Generation 6, from Generation 1 to Generation 6. So it was a bigger game with a bigger storyline. So that was my
Nice.
standard. So when I played this game, which is the first one in the series, um, it's a remake of the first entry. Um, I mean, you can tell it was the first in the series because it's pretty simple, pretty short. So, I mean, it was good, but it was kind of underwhelming. And so, I mean, I haven't touched the game since. Um, so yeah, it's been Animal Crossing for me. Uh, I don't know what what the future holds, but for now, Animal Crossing is gonna have to do it.
I hope you have some once Xenoblade Chronicles comes out. Hopefully that'll get you
Yes,
to
looking
have
forward
another
to that.
game on your radar.
That's right.
All right, cool, cool, cool. Co-host, do you want to go ahead and chime in before I do?
Well, I haven't really played anything different. So, I mean, the only thing different was, we revisited Resident Evil 5 last night, but
Yeah,
I mean, we pretty much covered all that like on the live stream. So,
yeah, it was a
All the
bunch of
first
fun.
30.
We struggled.
I wonder why.
It was me. It was me. I'm new to it. I had to learning the hard way.
No, see, now I know that if I need someone to have my back, I know that that is not you.
Nah, I'm a
Because my
flanker. You're
God,
on your own, Chief. I
yeah,
mean,
you are a terrible partner.
yeah, I don't take the attacks up front. I always try to do something clever, and it works out like half the time.
Yeah, no.
Yeah, yeah. All right, so for me, same deal kind of with me. Final Fantasy 14 has been taking up a lot of my time. Having a blast with the game still. Still a lot of story content to go through. Doing the dungeons. Having fun going through the dungeons with random people. They've been super nice, super friendly. It's just been a good time. So, Final Fantasy 14, shout out. And Splatoon I played with one of our panelists, Luis. Had a lot of fun with that game. That game is basically, in my opinion, Nintendo's like Call of Duty in a way. It's like that game that you want to be competitive in. You have some sort of a gun or that kind of gameplay, just like more parent friendly, more kid friendly. It's still really 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 competitive. Really, there's people that are really really good at the game. Provides a lot of challenge. So I had fun with that. I had fun with the ink brush the most. I called every time I got somebody, I didn't call it a kill. I called it an assassination, which was testament to to how I usually play video games. So that was
Yes.
fun. That was fun. And I played Resident Evil 5 with Andres yesterday, which was also really fun. Really fun time just romping through zombies, taking L's and learning from it.
8 kill.
8 kills, 11 deaths.
That's good.
Yeah. All right, I think that wraps it up for what we've been playing. Ready to move on?
Yeah.
Yes.
Let's continue.
All right, so I have a few stories, probably a couple of stories I kind of want to go through quickly since I anticipate we won't have much to say about them. First story, Inside Xbox had their broadcast where they promoted next gen gameplay of titles. They didn't really specify what kind of titles, and I do believe they tried to temper expectations in future posts and things like that. But a lot of people were going in thinking that this was going to be where we were going to be seeing a lot of how Xbox Series X games were going to be looking like, what we can be looking forward to. And we didn't really get much of that. Some titles did display what we could expect, but not just barely glimpses of anything. And probably the most disappointing thing out of all is that Assassin's Creed Valhalla was going to be there. It was there, but we didn't really see much gameplay. We didn't really see any gameplay. It's just in-game footage cut up. So, yeah, if you're interested in the Inside Xbox to see what kind of games there were, the developers do work hard on their games. So if you're interested, you can go ahead and give that a watch. Did you guys happen to see any of it, or you have any comments of what games are shown off?
Me personally, I haven't seen the whole presentation. Mm. I was able to catch some like a glimpse of of the interviews they were holding. Because I did notice that. I noticed that there was a lot of talking with like the developers and about their games. Mhm.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
I was at work, so I was only able to see like a few clips. But overall online, from what I saw, is that people were a little disappointed.
A little.
A little. Well, I mean, if you look at the like dislike ratio on the video, you see a lot of people are upset. But yeah, because I was expecting like maybe not announcement of games or new games, but more gameplay, to show off the new hardware.
Yeah,
Um, but we didn't really get that.
we
We got
didn't.
a
No,
few,
no, no.
we got a few trailers. So yeah,
Yeah.
I can see why people are disappointed. I think they're gonna hold an event, no, in July.
Yes, in July they're going to be showing their first party games, and people are
Right? So
holding out
maybe,
hope that we'll see
yeah,
something good.
maybe we'll see more footage then. But yeah, it was a little disappointing from what I saw online.
Yeah, there's not much of a need to keep hammering away at this. It's just it's just unfortunate that we weren't able to get something really hype with well, not really hype, but something to look forward to for the next generation.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
I mean, it's really weird because the Expo, like the Microsoft, they're like the only ones right now talking about the next gen, um,
Right.
Yeah, so
consoles.
yeah, I
So
can't
they
really
have
fault them
the,
too much.
but I mean, they have the opportunity to show off what they've got without anybody else, overshadowing them. I don't know why they haven't seized the
Moment.
opportunity.
Probably
'Cause, I mean, it's
because
pretty exciting.
yeah, yeah. Probably because a lot of the third parties they want to keep their stuff for whatever showcase they're going to be doing. So they don't want to show
Yeah.
all their cards with Xbox probably just yet. and I guess the first party still needs some development time. They probably just need a little bit more time before they're comfortable showing it off.
Yeah, right.
Yeah. Oh yeah. So that happened this past week. The next story that I have here, Star Wars Jedi Fallen Order, a really acclaimed game from last year. Uh, they put out a substantial free update for those that own the game. Some updates that they put out were quality of life changes just to make the game run smoother and better, new modes, and also cosmetics for players uh, to get. So that's just something I'd like to point out because the game was revered last year, and the fact that they're just putting out a free update for everybody, and that this is a game by EA, I thought
Yeah.
that was pretty substantial that they were treating their customers well and not charging them extra for extra content that could have easily been monetized.
But
Yeah,
Yeah, they're known for it, right? So
yeah.
yeah,
counts as like
yeah.
This
So
is this is the
just wanted to
game.
point that out.
This is the game developed by who did develop this game?
Respawn developed this game, so
Respawn, right?
yeah, they're known for doing first-person shooters, and they actually did a third-person action adventure game where there's melee combat, and they nailed it.
Yeah,
So still
that's pretty
boggles
good.
my mind to this day how they were able to do that. And for our next two stories, we might have a little bit more input to put into these stories. Our third story concerns Mortal Kombat 11. Recently, Mortal Kombat 11, the developers announced their expansion. It is titled Aftermath. It'll have an all new cinematic story, three new playable characters, which are Shiva, Fujin, and Robocop. And there's going to be three new skin packs that are going to be released over time. Mortal
Yeah.
Kombat came out last year in April, and this is their first expansion, their first full-blown expansion. They had their character packs that came out, but this is going to progress the story as well as give us new characters. So pretty exciting stuff for Mortal Kombat fans and those that are interested in Mortal Kombat in general.
Yeah. Well,
I know. Yeah, go ahead.
I would say Andres has put a lot of hours into Mortal Kombat.
Yeah, definitely. I wonder what our co-host has to say about this, if he has any opinions about it.
About what?
The Mortal Kombat 11 DLC Aftermath.
Well, I mean, it's there.
Yes.
Oh, I mean, I don't know. Like, I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm excited to see what happens because, like, I'm very invested. You know me that I'm invested in any game with a good story, and I mean, um, like the story of Mortal Kombat is crazy and convoluted, especially since they rebooted the timeline all the way back in 2011 with Mortal Kombat 9, and that's the current storyline that we're following. But
hmm
well, I mean, I don't know. I mean, okay, so like for those of you that haven't played Mortal Kombat, right? If you haven't seen the game or the story mode, so the spoiler here is that
To avoid spoilers, use the timestamps in the description.
basically Liu Kang becomes a god, right? So obviously, like I want to see what happens with that. Like, you know, how is Liu Kang gonna, you know, how is he gonna use his new godhood? You know, I mean, it sucks that Raiden is no longer the Thunder God. Like he's no longer Thunder God Raiden. Like he's immortal now. Immortal, not immortal.
Yeah.
Um, and then I guess they went with the good ending, not the best ending, because the ending that you get in Mortal Kombat 11 is basically like it all depends on your fight with Kronika, who's the final boss. Um, so the best ending happens if you beat Kronika without taking a loss. Like if you beat her without like just like two straight wins, right? No
Mm-hmm.
losses. You get the best ending, which it basically is Liu Kang and Kitana. They're at the edge of time and they're crafting, the timeline together. So I don't, that was I thought that was where the storyline was gonna go, but I guess they're picking off from the good ending, which is if you still defeat Kronika but you take a loss, right? And
Yeah.
in that ending, Raiden shapes time with Liu Kang. So I guess
Ah.
I guess that's the one they're gonna go with. And obviously, the worst ending, the bad ending, would be like if you lose to Kronika, like she resets time and you have to do everything all over again, basically. But so I guess that's the storyline they're gonna go with is just Liu Kang and Raiden together. Well, at least with Raiden's guidance, Liu Kang is gonna shape the timeline. So
Okay.
I mean, I thought it was pretty cool that like they're actually like Shang Tsung. He kind of had like a part in Mortal Kombat 11 because like when you do the crypt, he's pretty heavily present in the crypt. And then when he got announced as a DLC fighter, a couple months ago, like he became even more relevant to the story. But now the fact that they're actually putting him in this story means that he's now canonically back. Because up to this point he was just dead. He was supposed to be dead.
Mhm.
But I mean, so they're bringing back Shang Tsung, Fujin. I've always liked Fujin, because like
Where's
him and
Fujin
Raiden.
from?
So Fujin, he's also like one of the gods, like he's the wind god. So Raiden is the thunder god, and Fujin is the wind god. He's not one of the main like elder gods or anything like that, but like he's also like one of the lower level gods, like Raiden. He's
Okay.
been in a couple of Mortal Kombat games, but again, like he wasn't like he didn't have like a huge role, not as much as Raiden, anyways,
Yeah, I was like,
as
who is
far as
this?
the
Who is
story
this
was.
man? As a casual Mortal Kombat fan, I was like, who is this man?
Yeah, no, so he's you could say he's like one of Raiden's partners, I guess, because they both have like a godhood to them.
Yeah.
Um, and then who was the other one that was? I
Shiva.
forget. Shiva. Well, no, was it Shiva that walked through the portal? No,
Oh,
like
I thought you meant the characters. My bad. My bad.
no,
Okay.
it was I can't remember what the heck. I've seen that trailer like so many times, and I forgot who the third person was in the. Well, it doesn't matter, but
Mm.
yeah, I mean, I want to see where the story goes from here because I mean, as it is, they did a pretty good job of like wrapping up the story. At least it seemed like the story was wrapped up, but then with the aftermath expansion, like we basically get to see the consequences of Liu Kang trying to shape the timeline, in his own vision. So that'll be pretty cool. Maybe probably set up the possibility of Mortal Kombat 12. So I don't know. I'm pretty excited. I want to see what happens. I mean, May 26th can't get here fast enough. So
Oh, it's coming out soon. That's right. I didn't write down the date.
yeah, it's like 2.5 weeks,
Cool.
more or less.
Cool.
So
Cool. Cool, man.
yeah, and your boy already pre-ordered that joint. So
Yeah. Does it really cost 39.99?
yes, it does.
My gosh. That's kind of expensive.
Well, I mean, they're adding an entire new story. I mean, I don't know if it's gonna be 12 chapters long like the main story of Mortal Kombat was,
Mhm.
but I mean, as long as the story's good enough, it'll be worth it in my opinion. But I mean, there's no way to tell until it gets here. So
Yeah. Yeah. I saw 39.99. I'm like, for real? But we'll. I don't doubt that it'll be worth it in some sense, if especially if you're invested in the story.
Mhm. Well, I mean, one of the other things too that I was like kind of like hyped about was that they're bringing back friendships. So for the uninitiated, Ray, um, friendships is
I
basically
know babalities, but not friendships.
okay. So yeah, friendships is basically it's basically another like thing, like another action that you can perform like at the end of a fight. So you have your brutalities, you have your fatalities, babalities, like you said. But a friendship basically means that you spare your opponent, usually like with a very like comical way of doing things. So like um I think all the way back in like Mortal Kombat 2 or 3. I think it was 3. Like Baraka, like his friendship would be like, oh, he gives the other player a present. Um, you know, so I think like was it Jax or Johnny Cage? Like they do like that paper cutout of like the people holding hands together like when you unfold it. So like they do pretty stupid stuff like that. And I think it's hilarious that you have like this like gruesome game like that's all about blood and gore, and then you have something stupid like ridiculous like Scorpion using his spear to get a giant teddy bear, and he hugs it and just like I think that's just hilarious. I love it. So I'm
It's
excited
a
to see
nice
that come
touch.
back. Yeah, I mean, Mortal Kombat 11 brought back a lot of things, because mercies, you can do mercies also. So like, if you also like if you finish your opponent like or you beat the opponent and then you get to the finishing part, like you could do a mercy, which is basically give them back some health and give them a chance to like fight back. You give them like a second chance,
Hmm.
which was also something from like the earlier Mortal Kombat. I want to say Mortal Kombat 3, I think. So Mortal Kombat 11 brought back a lot of like old like gimmicks from the previous games. There's a lot of returning characters. Um, whether or not they were playable or not, obviously a lot of people are still mad that there's no Melina, but you never know. Maybe she'll be like a part of Combat Pack 2 if they ever do that. But I
Yeah,
don't know.
yeah.
I'm excited. I'm excited.
All right, I appreciate the input because we wouldn't have had nearly as a engaging conversation if it wasn't for you here about this.
Has the Joker come out?
Yes, the Joker came out
Did
months
he?
ago.
Oh no. Oh,
Jose,
The last, the
I
last, the
didn't.
last character that was added was Spawn, and that was like that. He's also been out for like a couple weeks already, like 5, 6
Yeah,
weeks.
yeah, Spawn.
yeah. Still haven't played as Spawn. One day when once quarantine is over, we can do some matches. You guys still there?
Yes.
Okay. It kind of sounded like it cut out. All right. Everybody ready to move on? Any more thoughts about Mortal Kombat? Okay. Are Jose and Luis still there? It sounds like their audio cut out.
It says that they left the chat.
All right, so they're gonna come back.
Yeah.
All right. All right. Last story. Last story that we have. There's going to be a sequel to Inuyasha. The sequel is going to be called Yashahime, Princess Half Demon. It's going to be following the daughters of Inuyasha and Shishomaru. I have an excerpt from Viz Media Post by Yuri and Brown about what the series is, or the whatever the sequel is going to be, the plot's going to be, as well as some details from Nick Valdez from comicbook.com. So here's a quote about what the sequel is going to entail. It's pretty lengthy, so go ahead and settle in. The daughters of Shishomaru and Inuyasha set out on a journey transcending time. In feudal Japan, half-demon twins Towa and Setsuna are separated from each other during a forest fire. While desperately searching for her younger sister, Towa wanders into a mysterious tunnel that sends her into present-day Japan, where she is found and raised by Kagome Higarashi's brother Sota and his family. 10 years later, the tunnel that connects the two eras has reopened, allowing Towa to be reunited with Setsuna, who is now a demon slayer working for Kohaku. But to Towa's shock, Setsuna appears to have lost all memories of her older sister. Joined by Moroha, the daughter of Inuyasha and Kagome, the three young women travel between the two eras on an adventure to regain their missing past. The details that I have, the original creator of Inuyasha, Rumiko Takahashi, she will be on the project, and Sunrise, the studio that animated the series, the original series, will animate the sequel as well. All right, so this came kind of as a shock. I believe it was yesterday. people were losing their minds that Inuyasha was coming back and that Sesshomaru had a daughter. So,
Well, not just that Sesshomaru had a daughter, but he had
or
a daughter
daughters
with a
maybe.
human.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
Because it was detailed that she's a half human, half demon, just like Inuyasha.
yeah.
So my question is who was brave enough to mate with Sesshomaru?
Yo, Sesshomaru's cold as heck, man. But they're in anime. Those archetypes, they get the women, man. They love them.
Well, see that. Well, yeah, obviously, and then towards the end of the series, obviously when Sesshomaru was first introduced, he's nothing more than he just wants to take down Inuyasha, and he's just like, oh, get out of here, you mutt, you disgust me, for you and father are such disgraces and whatever. But then as soon as Rin gets introduced into the series, you see him gradually become less cold and more concerned
Hmm.
with other people, especially humans, because of Rin. I mean, pretty much towards the end of the anime, and then when they did the final act, which was the 24 episodes that they adapted from the ending of the manga, um, he had some major character development that basically showed that he does care.
Right, right,
So I
right.
mean, it doesn't come too much of a surprise. I mean, I still kind of figured that the Shomaru would have been were he ever to have a mate, I guess it would have been with some demon, with a demon woman. But the fact that it was a human, that kind of took me by surprise. But see, then my next question was it Rin? Is Rin the mother of Sesshomaru's um, daughter? Because remember, Rin is a human and Sesshomaru is a demon. So obviously he doesn't age as much as Rin would have. So you got to figure if this is years later, Rin would be an adult woman by now, where Sesshomaru would still be more or less in the 17 years of age, looking uh sort of thing. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
yeah. I guess
So
it depends when this is set. I guess it wouldn't be too far fetched to say that Ren is an adult by the time they have or Shishomaru has his daughters.
well, because you said that one of the twin girls, she was adopted by Sota, who's Kagome's younger brother. So you
Yeah,
got to
yeah, yeah.
figure Sota he wasn't even 10 years old yet,
Ah,
during
right,
the
right.
events
Yeah,
of
he
the
was
anime.
little. Hmm.
Yeah, he was still a little kid. So if he's old enough to adopt somebody, you got to figure at least a good 10 years have passed at the very least. So, and I believe Sota and Rin were more or less the same age. So you got to figure that Rin, yeah, she would have been an adult at this point.
Yeah, and they said that Sota has a family. So,
Yeah. So
so yeah, that
Sota is definitely at least 20. So a good 12 to 15 years have passed, which would definitely place Rin, more or less at that age range too. So, and I mean, so who knows? Who knows? We'll see. Dang,
yeah.
that means Kagome is gonna be wrinkly as heck, man. She's gonna be probably in her late 30s, early 40s.
Yeah. Yeah, dang. And they're all the kids don't well, they're half demon kids, so they're not going to age like humans.
Well, at least Kagome and Inuyasha's kids, they'll be a quarter demon because
Oh, quarter
Inuyasha's
demon,
already
that's
half.
right.
Yeah, he's already half demon. So
Yeah.
their kids would be a quarter demon. So Shomaru's would be the half demon because he was a full demon.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. So from this, it seems like Towa and Setsuna are Shishomaru's daughters, and then Moroha, they explicitly say that that's the daughter of Inuyasha and Kagome. Um, I'm looking forward to this because I guess the series that I'm comparing it to, I shouldn't be, but I am. Boruto.
I
Um,
How dare you? I knew you were gonna bring it up.
yeah. So as much as I like Naruto, I mean, the Boruto series is almost a carbon copy of the original, dang near. And I would be excited for this one if they actually go on their own new fresh adventures and they aren't shackled to what their previous generation did and just follow kind of those same beats. So if they're able to do something original and just have, you know, callbacks here and there for the fans so they can enjoy the series, I'd enjoy that the most rather than them not taking any liberties in the new series. But we'll see. We'll see.
Well, we haven't really we I don't think we've ever seen Inuyasha
Or
or
yeah.
Boruto. I mean, we haven't seen either. So, um, but I mean, I know Inuyasha is like pretty. It's like a staple, you know. So, I mean, it's
Yeah.
nice to see it come back.
Well, I mean, I don't remember, but I'm pretty sure that like the very first anime I saw was Inuyasha. So I mean, it's pretty. It's a staple in the anime community, like you said.
Yeah. So I don't know. We might give it a try and then catch up.
Out of the millions of animes that we have to catch up on watching, Cowboy
And you,
Bebop, My Hero.
Bleach, you know what I'm saying?
No, we're not doing that.
I mean, we can do it. That was my first anime. I'm attached to it.
No.
It's
That
quality.
was?
Yeah, it's my first anime. Introduced me to anime.
Well, I mean, I guess Johnny Young Bosch.
Ooh,
I like his work. So
the
I don't know.
reason to watch
Maybe.
the dub, Johnny Young Bosch. Yeah, yeah. Just a couple episodes, at least. All right, so that's going to do it for most of the news. The next story that I have includes some news, but it also is going to be kind of like a discussion topic, and it concerns Nintendo. So um, we'll see how long we talk about some of this stuff, and if we're going a little over time, then we'll probably have to make a part two about this Nintendo talk. So let's go ahead and start off with Nintendo's financial results. So Nintendo, as you guys can imagine, from end of March 2019 to end of March 2020, they had a stellar year. They had a lot of heavy hitters. They had Pokemon. Most recently, they had Animal Crossing. What else came out in 2019? There are some other titles there, but those are the ones that come to mind. They posted big numbers, had a lot of profit. But what I really wanted to focus on was the games that they officially announced, their first party games, on their financial results. So these are the ones, the fiscal year, so ending March 2020 to March 2021. These are the first party games that they officially announced. So number one, the one that's going to come out the soonest, Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition.
Hi.
Hype hype.
Hype,
Uh,
hype, hype, hype.
the next one is Clubhouse Games 51 Worldwide Classic. So all the board games that was in the
Hype.
Direct Mini. Number
Yes.
three, Animal Crossing New Horizons. They're gonna have continuous updates to that game. Fourth, Pokemon Sword and Shield's expansion pass, Part 1 releasing at the end of June 2020 and Part 2 in the fall. I know a few of us are looking forward to that.
Only one actually.
All right.
Really?
At least a couple.
Yeah.
And Super Smash Bros. Ultimate Fighters Pass Volume 2. Characters are going to be releasing starting in June, barring
Yeah.
any delays, and that character is going to be an ARMS character. And number six, this doesn't apply to the US, but they also highlighted a Japanese game that's going to release in Japan. I couldn't read the lettering or the language, so I don't know what it's called. But there's a Japanese game that they've announced that's going to be first party.
I think I've heard about the game, but yeah, I don't
Yeah, I
remember.
don't. Yeah, I tried to research it and I couldn't find it. So if anybody knows what that is or has a translation, feel free to let us know. Yeah, so those are the five things basically that they've officially announced as first party.
Yeah.
So
I mean,
before we move on to the third party ones, do you guys have any thoughts about what we have to look forward to at this time?
I mean, it's only five things, but I feel like those five things are um, pretty pretty good. I mean, like you said, some of those are like heavyweights, you know. So you have Pokemon, so you're gonna have like the Pokemon fans, enjoying that, and then Animal Crossing has proven to be like a huge,
monster.
yeah. So I mean, honestly, I think with just the Animal Crossing updates, Nintendo would have enough to like carry fans over till like next year, you know.
Nay.
But I mean, well, for a lot of people, right? Not including you. Um, but yeah, I'm definitely excited about the Xenoblade Chronicles. I've never played that game. Obviously, I've heard good things from you, Ray, and I mean from other people.
Mhm. Mhm.
So, and I mean, I've been dying to kind of get into an RPG, JRPG. So hopefully, this is the one. So yeah, I'm looking forward to all of that.
Well, I
Yeah.
mean, uh, well, I agree. Um, but you have to look like that. Both two of those things are expansions, right?
Yes.
Are constant updates.
Yeah, so Animal
One is
Crossing's an update, and Pokemon Sword and Shield has an expansion,
an
and
expansion,
the Fighter's Pass, which is an expansion as well.
right? So you have Xenoblade Chronicles,
Hmm.
which is you can say it's a brand new game, um, and then a party game, the 51 Clubhouse game.
Right.
Um, so I think it's a what's the word? I don't want to say like a poor lineup. It's a limited lineup, limited a limited lineup. Um, Personally, I mean, I am interested in the Xenoblade Chronicles and the Animal Crossing updates and the Smash. So I have enough content, coming up.
Oh
But
yeah,
maybe
yeah, yeah.
for other people who might not be interested in these games can see it as like a weak or a poor lineup of games. We might hear something from Nintendo around June, like of their upcoming games. And I think the president of Nintendo has said that there are other releases planned for this year. So,
Hmm. Hmm.
mm, I think it's a little there's like there, there's pros and cons to what we've seen from Nintendo. But I mean they're doing pretty good. So, and we have to remember like isn't like Sony's releasing The Last of Us and Ghost of Tsushima in June and
Yeah,
July.
that's basically covering summer.
So yeah, so
Yeah, yeah.
those months. So I mean, yeah,
I think what's special about Nintendo is just how just off of a single release, how far that reaches. Cause like Animal
right.
Crossing, I don't know how was like. I think the last figure I saw was like 11 million at
Since
least, and
13.
like 13, and it just
Yeah,
keeps growing and growing. And was there like 50, almost 60 million Switches out, sold into people's hands. So if you divide 11 or 13 million into 60 million, that's a really big percentage of people, at least 20% of people that are just playing Animal Crossing and enjoying the heck out of it. So
I
they
saw,
just make a
I
big
saw
splash
somewhere.
with everything.
I saw somewhere like a post. I don't have like the source or anything, but
Yeah.
like I heard that the president had said that what Animal Crossing has sold so far is what they expected for it to sell in lifetime.
Oh
So I
wow.
mean,
Okay.
it's already broken expectations.
Yeah.
And
Everybody's expectations.
yeah,
It's a
and the numbers are
phenomenon.
Copy.
Yeah. Even at this point, Nintendo is promoting Xenoblade Chronicles Definitive Edition, but I still believe that those that didn't play the original, they still don't understand how special that game
Right.
is probably going to hit.
And it's gonna give an opportunity to others who never
Yeah,
played it.
yeah, cause Fire Emblem hits really well. I mean, it didn't sell
Right.
gangbusters, but it sold millions, and people love
Yeah.
that game. And I feel like
Well,
Xenoblade Chronicles is going to at least hit that threshold, if not go past it. Past it.
it's true.
Yeah.
And we'll see how that affects like the numbers of Xenoblade Chronicles 2 as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. Everybody's going to want to experience the whole story.
Right.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So, some third-party games that have been announced for Nintendo that are going to come out in 2020. I have 7 of them. I got them from Matthew Reynolds from Eurogamer. So the first one is a free-to-play game. I played the demo of it. Ninjala. Ninjala is going to be coming out on May 27th. Decently fun game. I wish I had more time with it to give a better impression of how good it is. But I feel like people who play it are going to have a good time with it, especially since it's free to play.
Right.
Borderlands Legendary Collection and BioShock The Collection, that's going to release on May 29th. Uh, Another JRPG, Trails of Cold Steel, that's going to release on the Switch June 30th. Trails of Cold Steel 3 to be specific. Bravely Default 2 is going to come out sometime in 2020, which is also another JRPG. No More Heroes 3 is going to be a 2020 release. The Outer Worlds, it's a Western RPG in the vein of like I would say like Fallout. I think the developers had a hand in Fallout and they took their ideas and put it into Outer Worlds.
Yeah. Well, they're the original developers now of the
I
first Fallout.
believe so. I believe I don't have the sources for that, but they are definitely part of the Fallout like series at
Right.
some point. And then lastly, we have Persona 5 Scramble. That's not confirmed to be 2020. It is out. If it's not out in Japan already, it's going to come out shortly. It's to be announced in the West.
So it's,
So those are the third-party games that are confirmed. There might be more that I missed, but those I believe that's pretty comprehensive. Any of those titles jump out to you guys as something that you look forward to?
for me, No More Heroes 3. But the
No More
thing
Heroes
is, I
3.
had played the other two. But it's always like it's a franchise that looks interesting, and I've been wanting to try it. But other than that, mm, not really.
Yeah,
Like
yeah, I
nothing
get where you're coming
else
from.
seems interesting. No,
Persona 5 Scramble, definitely that's me all
oh
day.
right, Persona 5.
Yeah, I think we're quick to forget about it because there's no date on it, but that's gonna be hype whenever it releases.
And Bravely Default too as well, but again, I haven't played the first one.
Yeah,
Eh, but it's the same team that worked on Octopath Traveler. So after having played Octopath Traveler, it's an interesting franchise to look at.
mhm, I see. Um,
Nice.
yeah, and if Outer Worlds, I mean, if people really wanted to play it, and I mean, people that only have Switches, didn't have a choice, but a lot of people have already played it on PS4, PC, Xbox.
Right.
Yeah, so still hyped that it's coming to the Switch. Personally, Trails of Cold Steel 3, maybe people will give that a chance. Supposedly, what I've been hearing is a quality JRPG that's worth people's time. But yeah, yeah, third party games, decent, nothing too out there.
Yeah,
The
nothing too
last,
big.
yeah, The last thing I wanted to go over, we're getting close to where we need to start wrapping it up. So the last thing I want to talk about are the games, big games that have been announced, but there has not been a follow-up to it. There's three games on this list. First game, Bayonetta 3.
Yep.
Bayonetta
Yeah.
3, no follow-up yet from Platinum Games on that one. Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild, the sequel. That was announced at E3 last year, and we haven't heard anything about it since. And Metroid Prime 4, um, early beginning of 2019, they said that they scrapped the work that had been done so far, and Retro Studios has been heading up that project since.
Yeah.
So yeah, just to keep that on our radar. Any thoughts about those three games? When we probably can see them, or how hype you guys are for them?
Well, I mean, hopefully soon, or at least an update for all three of them. Yes. I'm holding out for Pikmin 4 too. I'm still. I know there hasn't been any official anything about
Yeah,
them,
yeah, yeah.
but it's still in my
Jose,
heart.
I'm gonna have to ask you to save your thoughts for part two. We're probably gonna do part two where we'll do speculation. So
Okay.
yeah,
All right.
yeah.
But
Just real
but yeah, I
quick,
mean, I'm
real quick,
excited
not to
for.
Pikmin. Yeah. All right, go ahead. Sorry, I'm keep cutting you off.
No, 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 no worries.
Yeah.
I am excited for those three games. Well, I personally haven't played the Metroid Prime games, the first three. Um, so
Yeah, yeah.
uh,
No, it's
I,
no, no
I mean, if
worries.
they do, you know, release it or is it as it's part, uh, I'll be down to play it. But yeah, I mean, definitely Breath of the Wild too. From that little trailer we got last year. And I mean, it's a Legend of Zelda game, so obviously the hype is there no matter what. Looking forward to that. Hopefully, we'll get more news on that, um, this year. But I know that with the, coronavirus and all of that, it's, a lot of those things maybe were put on hold or slowed down for progress.
Yeah.
I want all three now.
Wait, what'd you say?
I want all three now.
Oh, all three. Yo,
Yeah.
don't we all, man? Just gonna throw this out there. I hope Zelda's playable in the sequel. I'm just gonna keep saying it until hopefully it comes true. And I'm looking forward to Metroid Prime 4. The controls. It's going to be with dual sticks, where you can control the camera with the right stick rather than having to use kind of like tank controls, but I guess you can call them tank controls. They are. Um, just modernizing that series into the modern era of gaming. Just the controls by itself, not to mention the graphics and where they're going to be taking the story. It's very hype.
Yes.
Yeah. Shout out to Bayonetta 3. I'm not as attached to that one, but
I played the first Bayonetta and the I started playing the second one, but I don't know, like it didn't capture me. Um, I just started playing it and then I stopped. But I don't know, I might get
it's not for
into.
everybody. I don't think.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, any last thoughts about anything Nintendo before we go ahead and go to pass or play?
No,
Nothing much.
no, nothing much.
All right. Like I said, I had another part about speculation just in case we were short on time, but since we are not short on time, we'll just go ahead and have a part two where we'll speculate about what possible upcoming games we can anticipate from Nintendo.
Right.
Yeah. So that brings us to pass or play. Those of you who have listened before, you know how pass or play works, but if you have not, then pass or play works as follows. Either I or one of the panelists or my co-host, they choose a game, and they one of us takes a quote, whoever presents the game, from the back of the box, and we have to tell them if we would pass on it or if we would be interested in playing that game. and I forget who's going to be doing that this week.
It's gonna be Luis.
Okay, so Luis is going to be hosting the Pastor Play. He's going to be presenting the game.
Right. Well, it's gonna be two, right? Me and Andres. Or it's just
Co
one.
Co-host, do you have a game ready or?
Yes, I got one.
Okay, so yes, that is correct.
Okay, so I'll go first. Okay. You ready?
I'm ready.
I'm keeping one word out of the cover.
Okay, that's fair.
One word. Yes. Okay, here you go. Is it real or only in your head? Prepare for an epic psychological thriller where nothing is as it seems. As you delve deeper into the dark designs of an ancient evil, you'll have to fight to save your characters blank and your own. Pass or play.
Okay, that
Huh.
sounds something like Until Dawn or like Man of Medan. Um,
It's definitely a
yeah.
horror.
Hmm.
Um,
It's all in your mind.
Okay, you know what? I messed heavy with Until Dawn. So if it's anything like just from that tagline, like that's literally what my mind turned to was like something like Until Dawn, and I played that. So if it's anything like that, or if it is Until Dawn, then heck yes, I'll play that. That sounds like something I'd play. I'm down with that. I'll play it.
Okay, that's a play.
Luis, I'm going to ask you to read it one more time for me, please.
Yes, please. All right. Is it real or only in your head? Prepare for an epic psychological thriller where nothing is as it seems. As you delve deeper into the dark designs of an ancient evil, you'll have to fight to save your characters blank and your own.
Hmm. That ancient evil.
they have an idea what it is.
Right.
Um, I
Uh,
mean, the thing that captured me was the psychological thriller. I like those type of games, or I like to think that I like those type of games.
Right.
okay.
Um, the first impression I got was that it's like a Silent Hill game, maybe. Um, and I mean, I've never played a Silent Hill game, but I would like to, maybe. So I'll play. I'd play.
Two plays.
Yeah. But I think I know what it is. What about
Okay,
you?
okay, okay. Um,
I know you're not a huge fan of like scary games, right? Right.
not necessarily, no. This game kind of, for some reason, I'm thinking it's gonna have like, it's not gonna all take place in the present. It's gonna be flashback to here, flashback to there, and I'm not that big of a fan of that. Uh, so I'm gonna pass.
Right.
And if I had to guess, I don't know why, but I'm thinking of like Twilight Princess, but I'm not sure. I don't think that's it.
No, I don't think so.
Yeah. I'm gonna go psychological thriller. I don't have a guess really. I'm gonna say it's a. Let's. I'm just gonna say Beyond Two Souls or something. Let's say Beyond Two Souls.
Okay.
Alright.
Well, okay. So this game is it's a game that I played before eh, as a kid, as a child,
Oh.
and plus I probably know about it as soon
Yeah, I
as
know
I
what you're talking
as I
about.
mentioned.
Yeah, I know what you're thinking.
But yes, so it's two plays and one pass, right?
Okay,
Yeah,
look,
on the
you see
pass.
it. You said it's a game that you played when you were younger. Okay, I switched my vote from Until Dawn to Perfect Dark.
Okay.
Perfect Dark.
I think I want to say what I think it is, but I feel like that's gonna be the answer. So
Well, say it. I'm
Yeah,
gonna say it
he's
anyways.
gonna say it like literally like in 2 seconds. So
I
what do you
think
think?
it's Eternal Darkness.
Okay,
Okay.
I've never heard of that game, but okay.
I've
You
heard
never
of
heard of
it.
it?
I've heard of
That's
it.
a
Well,
that's a game. Eternal Darkness, Sanity's Requiem
Internal
Okay,
for,
Darkness.
for the
that,
GameCube.
never heard of that game,
I've
but
heard of
okay.
it. I've heard of it. I've heard of it. Is it first person or third person? I think it's first
Okay.
person.
The third person.
It's third person? Interesting.
Yeah. So you control this like girl, and cause the thing about this game, like what made it unique, it had like a sanity. Um, I think it's like a system called sanity effects. Basically, in the game, you see things or you get scared or whatever, and it messes up with your sanity, and it like you start seeing like different scenes that affect your sanity, and you have to keep your sanity like balanced, so you don't get like
That kind of sounds
it,
like Clock Tower. Like it kind of sounds like the Clock Tower games.
no, I've never heard of that.
You've never heard or played Clock? What?
Nope.
No.
I
But I
think
mean,
I've faintly heard of it. I don't know what that
one of
is.
the most infamous like moments in that game is when you're playing the game and at one point it cuts off, as if like the TV
Turns off or something.
turns off or the antenna. You know those colored bars show up on your TV,
Yeah.
right? And
So
so
I
you
don't
know
know.
a lot of gamers when they were playing that, they get scared because it's like, oh, the game just cut off, but it's not. It's part of the game. It just tricks you into thinking that your TV turned off.
Okay.
It's kind of like that system.
Or that the
Hmm.
signal cut off, rather. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So it's just different things like that. And I think it's like the only horror game that Nintendo has ever
yeah, because it was a GameCube
produced.
exclusive.
Yeah. There's actually a spirit of the main character in Super Smash Bros., which is nice
Yes.
because it's never acknowledged by Nintendo. But yeah, I knew it. I knew it was sad.
Yeah. But yeah,
Cool.
that was like
And I definitely played.
That was a curveball. Didn't expect that one.
it was kind of like very
I mean, it's very hidden.
yeah, it's very cult classic.
Yeah, that's something I'd watch on YouTube and not play.
Mhm. Yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay, we're gonna move on because we're pressed for time here. So,
Yes.
um,
Yes.
I couldn't decide between two games. So I'm gonna pick one, and then I guess I'll save the other one for like the next time, I guess. So I'm just gonna choose one of these two at random.
Okay.
Okay. If you guys know my preferences, I feel like you guys should already kind of like figure it out. But here goes. Okay. So here's the tagline. You ready?
Mhm.
Okay. So engage your passion and fight to save the world. The dawn of a new hero emerges. Take on the role of a young man destined to become the legendary shepherd as he navigates a medieval fantasy realm filled with magic, dragons, and mystery. With the help of the Lady of the Lake, uncover the mysteries of a lost civilization and fulfill the shepherd's destiny.
Oh,
I play Tales of Zestiria.
You think it tells us history?
I don't know why
I
I'm
mean,
confident in it, but I'm just gonna put it out there. I'm gonna play.
that was my first impression too. I think it's a Telltale game. I don't know which one.
Okay.
Um, but I mean, I feel like it is based on the description and based on what you said about your preferences. I do think it's a JRPG. So
Naturally.
I mean, that's something that I'm interested in.
yes.
So I would play it.
I played it as well. I mean, it's the hero's journey here.
Yeah.
Dang, we got a sweep across the field.
Seems like
Yes.
you
Nice.
got good taste.
What should be FIFA or something? It's FIFA.
You would just have drakes and wyverns like all playing soccer. Okay, so it is a Tales of game, and Ray, you're wrong because um, every Tales of game has dragons and like a medieval setting to it. So
Okay.
yeah, I mean you were right though. It is Tales of Zestiria, but it was literally a lucky guess because you assumed that Tales of Zestiria was the only one that fit that criteria, but all the Tales of games have like
I heard
a medieval a medieval setting to it.
I heard Shepherd and I heard that word associated with that game before, I believe, and I think that's why it tipped me off.
Okay. That's true, cause like the main character Saray, like he's like they often call him the Shepherd instead of his name.
Yeah,
So there you go. So yeah, it
yeah,
was
yeah.
Tales of Zestiria.
Dude, I was
You
close to buying
you
Tales
got
of
that you
Hysteria.
got that like right away. Like that was like just instinctively you were like Tales of Zestiria.
Yo, I'm this close to becoming a real big Tales of fan. I just need to find the right one to pop me off.
Well, you started a playthrough of Tales of Symphonia,
Yeah.
which was my introduction to the Tales of series. So it's it holds a very special place in my heart, I guess.
Mhm.
Yeah, I would venture to say it's probably one of the best Tales of games, if not it's one of them, if not the best. Um, and like in my experience, it's one of the longest ones too, because I feel like I put way more time into Tales of Symphonia than any of the other ones. I
Mm.
feel like I feel like I could clear most of them like under 50 hours, more or less. But I mean, like a good like run through of Tales of Symphonia, like it'll definitely be like in the 60-hour range.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
So,
For Tales of Symphonia, love the story. Not a big fan of the art direction. Not a huge fan of the combat, and I think that's what's stopping me from
mm.
keeping going. But the story is immaculate.
We'll see the art style of it all is like the first couple of Tales of games, they were like on handheld, like the Game Boy and stuff like that, like the Game Boy Advance. Like that's where they started out. I think the PlayStation also, but they were kind of like in that like 16-bit era where like the character models were like little kind of like Final Fantasy esque, like the little like miniature, what are they called, chibi or something like that. I
Mm-hmm.
don't know what the heck. Um, so by the time that Tales of Symphonia rolled around, like they were trying to slowly like exit that like chibi style, I guess. So they kind of hybridized it by making it kind of like um, like I guess full scale. I guess if you want to call it, like I guess that would be the appropriate way to say it, like a full scale mixed a little bit with like that kind of like that like chibi art style. So maybe that's why it was kind of a turnoff for you, I guess, because they kind of hybridized the two. But
Yeah,
then like
probably.
the next game, like actually the sequel to it, like they kind of got rid of that altogether, and they just made like the full scale models already. So
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, because like from Tales of Celia on, like they just completely eliminated that art style, and they just went to like the normal like full scale like human models, I guess. So, but
Yeah.
yeah. And
Tales.
then the combat was actually, I thought the combat was pretty good because they did like little miniature cutscenes like for certain spells that you cast. There was a lot of like interaction between the characters. Um like if you entered into a boss battle, like in the middle of the fight, like there would be dialogue between the antagonist and the protagonist.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, I thought that the battle system that they did was pretty well. They also did that whole unison attack thing, which were basically like you had a bar that you filled up like as battle went on, where like once that bar was full, you could use a unison attack where all four of your party members attacked simultaneously, similar to like an all out attack in Persona 5, or you know what I mean. I don't know what in Zeno, what is it, the one that's coming up,
Xenoblade.
Xenoblade.
Yeah.
Yeah, because like how Shulk's final smash is like all four of them attacking simultaneously.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, so it's kind of like that. But I mean, I thought it was pretty good. I liked it. I liked the combat. I like that. For me, honestly, the combat was like a really huge thing. Because rather than waiting to like level up and learn skills, like learn like new skills and abilities, like after you leveled up, like you could literally learn skills in the middle of a battle. Like you could be fighting in the middle of the battle, and then like you'll learn a new ability, like skill or spell. So I don't know. To me that was really cool. I like it when it's like in kind of um,
Yeah.
like that real time perspective of it, I guess. So I don't know, but I'm
I probably
rambling.
Yeah, I probably just have to spend a little bit more time on it, give it a more fair shake on that front.
Yeah.
Yeah. All right. Well, that was fun.
Okay. So yeah, that was that. That's it for this episode of Pass or Play.
Hmm. And to cap it all off, we are Roll Jump Media. We post a lot of things on our official website. We have articles about recent news, about other things that are happening outside of the gaming realm as well. So if you want to catch up with us there, feel free to. And also on pretty much any social media platform, we you can find us at Roll Jump Media. All right, that's another good installment of our podcast, guys. I appreciate you guys being here and everybody listening.
Thank you. Thank you for listening. See you next time.
All right, audience, we'll see you next time.